Okay, so we have seen uplink fast. Okay, so what I will do, I will make this link up again. I will make this link up again. On switch 2, I will go and I will say config terminal interface no shut. Okay, once I say no shut, the spanning tree, I will see the spanning tree. Okay, see my 0/2 came into the blocking state. 0/2 came into the blocking state. Got it? Understood? Now I will go into the switch 3. In switch 3, do show spanning tree. Okay, my which port, all the port, which port is in the blocking? Fast Ethernet 0/2 alternate link. Why it is in the blocking state? Okay, so this is my alternate link. It will be in the blocking port. This fast Ethernet 0/2 is in the blocking port. This will be in the blocking port, correct? Fast Ethernet 0/2. This will be in the blocking port. Now, if this link goes down, this Ethernet 0/1, this link goes down, then this link will come up within 30 seconds. It will go to listening and learning states. It will go to listening and learning states. Okay. So interface Ethernet 0/1 shut. Show spanning tree. Show spanning tree. Okay, I have not enabled the backbone fast. I have to enable the backbone fast first. So I will go over here and I will make this port up again. Shut. No shut. Okay, this port came up again. Spanning tree. Okay, listening, learning. So config tree, spanning tree, backbone fast. Spanning tree, backbone fast. Okay, once I enable this, then what I have to do, I have enabled the backbone fast. Now config terminal, inside the interface 0/1. Okay, shut. Show spanning tree. See, it is going into the listening and learning states. It is going into the listening and learning state. Listening, then it came to learning. It didn't wait for blocking state. It didn't wait for blocking state. 0/1. Just see the fast Ethernet 0/1. Sorry, 0/2. I think so. 0/2. Yes, 0/2. It does not wait for blocking state. It didn't wait for blocking state. It automatically went into learning state. It went into learning state. Then after learning state, it came into forwarding state directly. Okay, so these are the two features to optimize the spanning tree, to converge the spanning tree. Okay, to fasten the convergence of the spanning tree. Okay, so uplink fast is something by using uplink fast. The alternate link will come up within a second if the direct link fails. If the direct link fails. Understood?
Sir, if there are more than one indirect links, one of the shortest one will be the alternate link, sir.
Sorry, I didn't got your question. One or more than one indirect link.
If switch 2 is connected to switch 4 and switch 4 is connected to switch 3, something like that.
Switch 2 is connected to switch 4,
And switch 4 is connected to switch 3.
like this.
Yes, sir.
So which is the blocking port in this? Any
Uh,
one of the port will be blocking port. Either this port will be blocking. Suppose I have
yes, sir.
this thing. This port will be blocking because I'm getting loop. I'm getting a loop over here. So this port will be my blocking port for this switch 4. Now if I enable switch 4, this is my direct link. Okay, this is my direct link. This is my direct link because it
Direct
is
link.
what I told you. On the switch which is having a blocking port, that link is known as direct link, and this is my indirect link for switch 4. This is my indirect link. This is my indirect link for switch 4. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir. I thought if switch 2's direct link fails, it will have two options to either go via switch 4 or go via switch 3. So it will only go via switch 3, sir. Okay, sir.
See, it will be having two options, but what it will look? It will look for the shortest path. It will look for the shortest path. Suppose the cost over all the links are 19, 19, 19, 19, 19. Then what it will prefer? It will not go via this way because again there is a blocking port over here. Again
Okay.
there is a blocking port over here. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So backbone fast is something if a link, if uh, by using backbone fast, the switch will send a TCN topology change notification to other switches, and it will bypass blocking state, and within 30 seconds the alternate link will come up. Understood? What is backbone fast? Got it? So we have seen how to optimize the spanning tree. How to optimize spanning tree. Okay, now we will start our another topic known as rapid spanning tree. Okay, RSTP. What is RSTP? Rapid spanning tree. Rapid spanning tree. How it works? How it works? See, this is the working of rapid spanning tree. How it works? See, what happened in the normal spanning tree? What was the scenario in normal spanning tree? We were having three switches. They were connected with each other. Okay, this switch is connected, this switch is connected, this switch is connected. So what was the scenario? They were sending BPDU messages. Okay, and with the BPDU messages, they were coming to know about the neighbor switch, and they were deciding, they were electing the root bridge and the root port, designated port and the blocking port. Now what will happen in this scenario? Okay, it works on the process of proposal and agreement. Proposal and agreement. Okay, so suppose this switch A will assign itself, it will say that I will be the root bridge, and what it will do, it will send a proposal message to switch B. It will send a proposal message to switch B, a BPDU proposal. Okay, a BPDU proposal, it will send to switch B, and it will block this link. It will block this link. When it is sending to switch B, it will block this link. Okay, then so it cannot receive any BPDU messages. It cannot receive any BPDU messages. Now what will happen once the switch B will receive the details in the proposal message? What it will do, it will check with the priority MAC address, okay, all the details, whatever is needed to become the, whatever is needed for bridge ID, for bridge ID, bridge ID. It will look all the details and it will send an agreement message. See, switch B port receives a superior BPDU, transits it port to root port, sends an agreement up to switch A. Okay, I agree that you are the root bridge. You are the root bridge. Then what it will do? It will block this port. Once it receives the BPDU message, it will block this port and it will send the BPDU message on this to switch C, the proposal message to switch C. Now switch C will see the, it will compare all the tables. It will compare all the tables and it will compare the details, and it will also send an agreement message that you can be the root bridge. Okay, they have elected the root bridge now. They have elected the root bridge. Now how to elect the root port and the designated port? Now what happens? This switch has sent the, these ports they have made as root port. They have made switch B assigns authorization to switch A and change its port to designated. Switch B blocks the non-edge designated port. What it does, it will block this port. Both the switch will block this port. Okay, then switch B sends a proposal to switch C through a designated block port. Through a designated block port, it will send an proposal message that my details are these and this. My details are these and this. Okay, now switch C will receive this BPDU message. It will compare and it will put this port into the blocking port. It will put this port into the blocking port. It will send an agreement because switch C alternate port is blocking. Switch B port did not receive agreement and transit it port to designated forwarded state. Understood how RSTP works? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Guys, you are getting me or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so there are some ports we have studied in you can say CCNA about RSTP. So it is same RSTP. See, we have to, if you have to on spanning tree mode rapid PVST, this is the command to on the rapid PVST. If you want to run by default, STP is running. STP is running by default. If you on rapid spanning tree, you have to give this command. Okay, then there are some ports. One is alternate port, then the other is backup port, then edge port, and these are the timers. These are the default timers. Cost, RSTP port cost. Okay, we have seen STP port cost. Now these are the RSTP port cost. If you are having the data rate as 4 Mbps, then the STP cost is 250 and the RSTP cost is this much. These are the port cost table. Okay, so these are the different port cost that you can have in RSTP. Okay, now we are having some ports, RSTP port states. Okay, so if you are going into normal STP states, you are having these five states: disable, blocking, listening, learning, and forwarding. But in RSTP, we are having only 3 stages. So these disable blocking and listening are given a name as discarding state. Discarding. Then we are having learning and forwarding. So what is discarding frame? What is discarding state? Frames are dropped, no address are learned. Link down blocking during sync. Okay. See, if the state is in discarding state, frames are dropped. Any frame that is received is dropped and no MAC address is learned. No MAC address is learned. Okay. So this is something, a discarding state. And learning state, frames are dropped but addresses are learned. Okay, in learning state, I don't, the RSTP will not receive any frame, but it will make an entry of in the MAC address table. But it will make the entry in the MAC address table. Frames are forwarded. Forwarding state, frames are forwarded and received. Understood? So it is same as the what we have learned in CCNA. Now by default we are having some things in RSTP. So RSTP is 802.1W. Okay, is a standard way of speeding STP convergence. Now there are some inbuilt features like port fast. Port fast is the inbuilt feature that is there in rapid PVST. Okay. Also uplink fast, backbone fast. So what we need to do in STP, we were using the commands. These commands were an extra commands. To optimize STP, we have to use these all commands, but they are inbuilt features in RSTP. They are inbuilt feature in RSTP. Understood? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So should I need, is there any need to show you the practical of RSTP? If you need, I can show you the practical of RSTP. Because it is the same that we have learned in CCNA, show spanning tree. Okay, IEEE. Now what I will do, I will give one command over here. Spanning tree mode rapid PVST. Okay, the same command I have to give on all the switches. Copy. We'll go on this switch. Enable config terminal. Paste. Okay. Enable config terminal. Paste. Okay. Show spanning tree. Okay. See, protocol is RSTP. Protocol that is running is RSTP. Understood? Now this is my blocking port. So what I will do for verification, what I will do, I will go on this switch 3. This is my switch 3. I will go on this switch, and what I will do, I will make the fast Ethernet 0/2 interface down. Sorry, 1. 0/1 interfaces down. So what I will do, see the convergence. See the convergence. It came up within a second. It came up within a second. This is what uplink fast. Correct? This is what uplink fast. Exit.
So in RSTP, by default, uplink fast and backbone fast are enabled, sir.
Yes, they are inbuilt features. They are inbuilt features. You don't have to enable them. You don't have to enable them. Also, port fast is also there inbuilt. Okay, see, if I connect this thing, it will come up within some seconds, within 5 seconds, I think so. Within 5 seconds, it will come up. See, it came up within 5 seconds. Usually, it takes 30 seconds to go into listening and learning state if you are running normal STP. Okay, but in the production network, if you will connect, this is the simulation. But in the production network, if you connect this access port on the access port on the port fast port, if you are running RSTP and you connect on the access port, you connect any PC, okay, then it will come up immediately. It will come up immediately. Now I will go on this switch and I will see for the backbone fast also. See, ConFT interface fast Ethernet 0/1 shut. See, it came up within a second. It came up within a second. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Understood? So this is the inbuilt feature that is there in RSTP. So you don't have to make any of the optimization in RSTP. You don't have to make any optimization in RSTP. Okay. So we have completed our RSTP. This is we have to learn about RSTP because it is there in our syllabus. Okay, but it is the same that we are having in what do we say? It is the same that we are having in our CCNA syllabus. Okay, so the same thing is there in our CCNP syllabus also. Now we will be learning something. PVST. What is PVST?
Per VLAN ST.
Per VLAN spanning tree. Per VLAN spanning tree. So per VLAN spanning tree is same as your STP, normal STP. Normal STP. Whatever you run normal STP, it is same as your normal STP. Okay. So in this, see what happens. What is the use of this per VLAN spanning tree? Suppose if we are having our production network. Okay, we are having our network over here. So we are having some core layer switches. Okay, some core layer switches. And we are having some distribution layer switches and also some access layer switches, which are connected to each other. Okay, we are having one more for backup. Okay, these are connected. These are the core layer switches. We are having the distribution layer switches and we are having the distribution layer switches and we are having the core layer switches. So they are connected with each other. Also, these are connected for backup. Also, these are connected for backup. Okay. So now this is an hierarchical model. This is an hierarchical model. Now what happened in the hierarchical model that if I am running STP, okay, if I am running STP, then what will happen? If I am running STP, then for per VLAN, for a VLAN, I will be using one STP instance. I will be using one STP instance for one VLAN. For one VLAN, I will be using one STP instance. Okay, suppose I'm having 60 VLANs, so I'll be using 60 STP instance. I'm using 60 STP instances. Understood? So every VLAN runs a separate STP instance, you can say. Every VLAN runs a separate STP instance. Got it? So now what will happen? Suppose I'm having hundreds of VLANs, 200 VLANs in my network. I'm having 200 VLANs in my network. Okay. And suppose I'm running STP. Then suppose I'm having two paths. I'm having two paths. So this path will be my forwarding. If this path in the forwarding state, then the alternate path will be automatically goes into the blocking state, correct? The alternate path automatically goes into the blocking state, correct? The alternate path will go automatically into the blocking state. Now, suppose if I am having 200 VLANs, so running 200 VLANs is equal to 200 HTTP instances. 200 HTTP instances, which is very complicated, which will be very complicated. And what it will do, it will give you more overhead. It will give you more overhead, more CPU utilization. It will give you more CPU utilization. Okay, so this is something if we are using normal STP, the per VLAN STP, PVST. Okay, if you are using PVST. But how to overcome this thing? So to overcome this thing, we can we can do? We can divide. Suppose we are having 10, 20, 30, and 40 VLANs are. We are having 4 VLANs. Okay, 10, 20, 30, and 40. Now what I did, I made this switch A. This is my switch A, switch B. This switch a root bridge for these two VLANs. What I did, I made this switch a root bridge for these two VLANs. This is my primary root bridge for this is my primary root bridge for these VLANs. Okay, and the secondary, and for on this switch for 30 and 40, this will be my primary root bridge. This will be switch B will be my primary root bridge, and vice and versa. If this is primary for 20 and 30, sorry, 10 and 20, then it will be secondary for 30 and 40. If suppose this if this link goes down, the switch B goes down, then this will take over, the switch A will take over the VLAN 30-40. Understood? Getting me or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is something we can use. It is known as PVST plus. If we are using PVST plus, we can configure the primary root and the secondary root. We can configure the primary root and the secondary roots. Okay, so if we learn some points about PVST, now PVST is something like every VLAN runs a separate HTTP instance. Every VLAN runs a separate HTTP instance. Cisco, it is a Cisco proprietary. It is a Cisco proprietary, and it only supports ISL. Supports ISL. Okay. Now PVST plus allows interoperability between CST. What is CST? Common spanning tree, and PVST. Okay, so something was introduced to overcome this thing was common spanning tree. Common spanning tree was using something like I told you that we will make one bridge as root bridge, and another for some VLANs we will make a particular switch as a root bridge, and for some VLANs we will make another switch as a root bridge. Okay, so this is something was done in this CST, common spanning tree. Okay, but this is not used anymore. This is a legacy method. This is not used anymore. Okay. Now this PVST plus allows interoperability between CST and PVST. Okay, in Cisco switches. Got it? What it does, it provides load sharing. It provides load sharing. One port will be in the forwarding and another port will be in the blocking. One forwarding state, one forwarding and one blocking. One forwarding and one blocking. Got it? Load sharing is used to optimize the network. Load sharing is used to optimize the network. Understood? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So we were using something known as CST in the previous word, but this is something a legacy method right now. We don't use this CST, okay, because a concept known as MST is already overcome. Okay, it has overcome this CST. So MST, we are using MST right now. Okay, so MST also works on instances. Okay, but it makes the instances as per the VLANs. Okay, it makes the instances as per the VLANs. Okay, so guys, we will take 5 minutes break right now. Okay, then we'll come again and we'll